On this episode, we talked to the first client I actually remember wanting to become the best version of himself, who ended up becoming a lifelong friend. My guest is none other than the Vagabond Cowboy himself, Brian. And after many attempts online, he's finally here in person in the Lil Garage studio. As much as Brian was chasing his own growth, he also believed in me. And that belief inspired me to become the best version of myself. I'm forever grateful for our relationship on so many levels. We also talk about the loss of parents, crazy thoughts, and dirty mac and cheese. Let's jump in. Aaron bought me one of those little boards, but like I don't use it.
Oh, clapboard?
Yeah. Let me
Ain't my first microphone rodeo.
I appreciate that because there are people that it is their first microphone rodeo. I guess I had a first microphone rodeo at some point.
We all did at some point.
We all had our first microphone rodeo.
It's usually drunk at a wedding.
Your brother's wedding, and you're like, this guy is the great. You remember that time in Mexico?
Never say you're supposed to meet your heroes. Well, I met Scottie G in 2024 or 2004.
Yeah, it was
2004.
2004. This is before iPhones.
Long before iPhones.
You were probably one of my first clients that actually gave a shit.
How so?
Because this sounds horrible, but most people hire me to be accountable for them in some way. And you were totally accountable for yourself. Like you wanted to be, you're like, I want to be in shape. Like, and I'm not going to pay money to just screw it off. You know what I mean? Like I want to be in shape.
I bought a year membership for my gym, or prepaid a full membership. I think it was a 2-year membership, whatever. Set out the cash, and by doing that, I got a free personal trainer. I don't want a personal trainer. I know what I'm doing. I've been around a gym before. I took Lifetime Fitness in college. I know what it means to be fit. I know what it means to be hold yourself accountable, and there's only one person that can do it. I didn't want this. And then I showed up, and you held me accountable, and I was like, all right, I like this. You're pushing me. You're finding out where I'm at already and saying, here, I'm going to meet you at the next level. I'm going to meet you there. And you kind of push me in that direction.
Was I really doing that though?
In weights, yeah, in weight training.
God, I feel like I was so horrible back then. I'm so appreciative that you gave me money. Like, like in the sense of like where
you were free to me for the first 5 visits.
No, but where I am now, there's just that you can't replace with time, right? Experience
100%.
of whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, and I think the truth in my statement comes in I renewed. I went past the 5, the free 5, and I think I bought a 25 pack.
Yeah,
like,
it's a pretty good feeling as a trainer.
Yeah.
When you kind of flip somebody out of free sessions into like paid sessions. Because that means that they found value in what you were doing.
100%, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I was also free falling in my life in certain areas too. So going to the gym was like, all right, I'm going to grab control of what I can control and do what I can do and move forward in a positive direction in a physical sense, because I know my physical health is my mental health. And I knew it back then, but I didn't know how to articulate it as well as I do today. And I'm not good at it today, mind you. But I knew I wanted to make change, and I got the 5 free sessions with you. And you pushed me in that change. You just kind of like interviewed me and said, where are you at? What are your goals? And I gave you that, I don't need you rebuff a little bit. And you're like, okay, bud, whatever. I don't need you either. And I was like, oh, wait, okay. And you're just like, well, I think one of the first things that really hit me when I use this one today on my friends that I take to the gym and whatnot. And it's, when you're doing a lat pull down and you're like, pinch my fingers. You put that in the crux of your back and like, pinch my fingers. I was like, okay. And you really felt and connected there just that, okay, I've got to really fully engage in this motion to get the benefit of this activity. And that's all you did. It was like, okay, I see you. I see you know what your way around the gym. I see what's going on. But here, I got a little trip for you. A little trick.
There's nobody that can't be coached. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like if I were to hire a trainer, now I would have really high expectations of my trainer, but like I would want to be pushed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like, meeting someone where they're at, like that's, because like, okay, I don't know if we've ever talked about this. You said that you were at that time you were free falling,
Yeah.
like in your life. What was going on? Because I don't know. You
I don't
never.
think we ever talked about it.
Yeah, you never told me.
I was very private. I had gotten out of a 3-year relationship, I'd bought 10 acres in Wimberley. I had a dream relationship, and I was owning a ranch, and I was I bought a new F-250, and that just was all disappearing. It was all going away, except for the truck. I drove that to the airport today.
The same one?
Same one.
Really? Dang. But I mean, like, do we really need new trucks all the time? Do we really need new
Not my
cars all the
book.
time?
Not my book. Need a new paint job, but that's about it.
Yeah. I literally I find myself in love with my truck, meaning that like the fact that I don't have a truck payment
Mm-hmm.
and that I love the way it drives and that I know what it does. Like of course, to have a really nice car would be nice. To have a newer car would be nice. But I really am grateful for my truck. That's weird to say. You know what I mean?
Is it?
Well, I mean, is that how you feel about your truck?
Oh, 1,000%. More than that, Scotty, I'll give you this. When I upgraded my trailer.
You're like, we're in a relationship together.
Yeah. Well, we had a baby. No, just kidding. When I bought my when I upgraded my RV from the 37-foot to the 40-foot, the weight changed. The weight changed.
Mm-hmm.
And my old truck couldn't tow it with all my stuff in it. It was honestly overweight before that, but I wasn't traveling a lot on it, so I didn't worry about it. But when I got the new one, I upgraded the new trailer. I knew once I put my stuff in it, it wasn't gonna tow it. The old truck wasn't gonna tow it. So as the universe puts things in motion, and I got the new trailer, and then all of a sudden I'm selling the house here in Austin, and I got enough money to write a check for a new truck, and I'm like, that's a point I never thought I'd reach in my life, where I wrote a check for a truck, $58,000.
A lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
There's a lot more now, but too.
It's double that now.
Right.
But I sweat bullets writing my first check for cowboy boots that I split with my buddy, and that was $125.
Right.
So, I mean, so I bought the new truck cash, and it was literally my home in Austin paid for that new truck, and it's a spaceship compared to the old one. 2002 to 2017. Whew.
Yeah.
When I got it, my friends would call it the spaceship. As you get into technology so advanced, and I mean,
Right.
following NASCAR for years, I'm like, all right, they are actually kicking down the technology from that stuff, because you get off road and you just feel the computers working.
That's crazy.
And doing all that stuff. So yeah, I got the new truck, and it was shiny and glistening, and I drove it a lot, and I really enjoyed driving it because it's new and it's mine, and it's bought and paid for the same way the old one was bought and paid for. And I didn't trade in the old one. I was like, why not? I said, because that's my truck.
Right.
That's my ranch truck, and I'm still gonna have my ranch.
Right.
One day I might have my ranch, or you're gonna bury me in that truck.
Right.
The two. And so a couple years on, I'm out in Malala, and I get that national parks, or the forestry, where I'm touring and picking up trash up in the forest and stuff, being a camp host, doing the work nobody wanted to do. I took that old truck up off in the forest roads and started bouncing around. I felt like Clint Eastwood just driving my truck, my nostalgic truck. So, yeah, to hear you ask that question, is that strange? No, it's not strange to me. It's perfectly natural. You grow up as a man in a truck. You experience the entirety of your life on the road sometimes. So yeah, there's something to be said about a truck.
I really didn't think I was going to get you to cry so early.
Truth be told, I cried when he walked in the front door. I don't know why. Probably because I lost both my dads. I mean, I'll put that out now.
Yeah.
but partly because we run so deep
Yeah.
in so many ways. So yeah, trucks matter.
When you started living in the trailer, would you consider that's when you started vagabonding? Is that when
Oh no.
it was before that?
Oh yeah.
Okay, but when did you start? When did you start the trailer life? Like living in
So yeah, the trailer came out of another failed attempt at owning a ranch, and I won't get into the specifics, but yeah, I had lived in Austin for 11 years, and I had moved 9 times, and I just looked at the heavens. I was like, "All right, I'm on to you now. I'm gonna put wheels on it. I'm gonna live on in a trailer in fifth wheel." I'm like, "You keep moving, making me move. Tired of packing my stuff up." And I was throwing boxes away I hadn't unpacked in 3 moves. I was like, just don't even open it. Let go of it. It's not important.
man.
And
Well, hey, hang on. What was that hard?
the first time, yeah, the first time I was going through every box, and it was really difficult. But when you move 5 or 6 times in 7, 8 years, it was got easier. Just like, okay, I haven't seen it in a while. I haven't needed it.
So you wouldn't even open the box?
Nope. I've moved it 3 times. It is a baggage, a burden. All I'm doing is moving it from one location to another.
No, I think that's incredible. Like
Yeah.
I hope that if one day if I come across boxes that I can just like harness that and go like you don't even know you don't even know you had this box. You know what I mean? Just like throw it away.
Let it go.
I kind of did that with my baseball cards.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one.
Well, but I had one of my friends that's into baseball cards kind of go through it first.
Yeah.
But he was like, pretty much all of this stuff is worthless. You know what I mean? It was all because it was like sets and just, at some point baseball cards became about the flashy cards, right? And so I just
Harder
took
to
the
find
whole,
ones, yeah.
I took the whole tub, all these baseball cards, and one of my clients, her grandkids, I just gave them the whole tub. And I was like, look, I go, if y'all find some sort of like crazy valuable card, just don't tell me. Like, don't tell me. I don't want to know. Sell it. Do whatever you want. Take the money, but do not let me know. Just pretend like it never happened,
Yeah. You didn't ask for 10% back?
No.
I wouldn't either.
So, but like part of the reason you started, part of the reason you also got the fifth wheel was because like you were going to be closer to your dad, one of your dads, right?
No, not initially.
Oh.
No, it was simply because I had moved so many times, and I was like, all right. And I wasn't finding settlement here. I just like I said, the earth kept moving me. The energy just kept moving me. So I was like, all right, maybe I'm not rooted here. So it was ultimately maybe wake up enough, make enough money at my corporate job, save it up, and then take a year off and journey back to the West Coast, or try to find a job on the West Coast, or do something different. So it was a way for me to find a home without any ground underneath it attached to it, so that I could truly find my own journey.
Okay, so where was the first place you went to when you left here?
Travis Lake.
Okay.
At Hacienda RV Resort.
Okay.
I stayed there for 2 years.
And then where was the next spot?
Estacada, Oregon.
Okay, so that first spot, that Lake Travis here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. And then the first spot outside of Texas is Oregon?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you pick Oregon?
To be on the West Coast.
Because that was, is that like home?
I was raised in the Sierra Nevadas, so I knew mountain life. Mountain life's my backyard was a national forest. So I knew I wanted to get back to the West Coast. I was looking more at Portland or Seattle as tech opportunities, places that you can start out. I was pushing more towards Portland. The market was drying up. But yeah, I ended up finding a job out there, and when I tried to quit my job here, they wouldn't let me. So they said, take your laptop. So I ended up recovering from a lot of past debts by working 8 hours a day for both companies.
You were the first person that I knew that worked remote.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone else that worked like remote.
Yeah.
Like Like literally, like was in like another state and worked for a company like here, right? The company,
They were in Austin, yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny because I contracted for the company for 6 months, then they hired me on full time. I'm like, great. And it was literally 6 months after that, I'm like, I'm moving to the West Coast. They said, take your laptop. I said, you don't have a telecommuting policy. You don't have a telecommuting program. They're like, take your laptop. We need you. I believe in you. We'll get it done. I'm like, I'm taking,
and the Wi-Fi was janky.
and I'm taking another job that I got to work these odd hours, so I'm not going to be at all the meetings that everyone needs to be. He's like, take your laptop. Just we'll figure it out. Try it for 6 months and see how it goes. Lasted 9 years.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah, it's there's an efficiency and a cadence, but you have to be self-disciplined to do it, and especially back then, 'cause we didn't have cameras back then.
Yeah.
It was just I would dial in on the corporate VPN phone, or walk around on my cell phone and just be like, yep, because there's no Zoom, nothing. Get in all these meetings and have to speak up in a room full of other tech guys. Speak up loud enough on the speakerphone to be like, no, the actual true answer should be blah blah blah.
Right.
So yeah, it was difficult back then. Now there's all got to raise your hand, and it's very different. Because I took 3 years off of doing any tech jobs on part of my vagabonding, and when I came back, it was like, oh, it was a whole different world. Because I was laid off in 2019, and then I didn't go back into the tech industry until February of 2022, but that lasted for only a couple months, and then I took that work product and created a resume, and then that turned out to be the job that I'm working now, because my resume fit what they needed precisely.
What all did you do with your time off?
I was a zip line guide for the first summer.
What was that like?
That was awesome. That was amazing. Are
a lot of people afraid?
Yeah.
Because I would be very afraid.
Even if they don't say it, they are.
Yeah, because you're like way up there, right?
Yeah. And I've had some really good experiences with helping people through that. Because as a zip line guide, you're not just, hey, let's go walk through the trees. You're checking in with them, like, where are you at?
Right.
And I had this one woman. She was clearly terrified, but she was pushing through. And so the first platform gets you 6 feet off the ground.
Uh-huh.
And you're everybody's strapped in. So it's, you got 2 clips to clip on and out. So it's a very safe protocol. And we're there to get you through every junction. And she was clear. It's just at the end of the first run. I'm like, how are you doing? Because I'll do the instruction at the far end. So I don't know exactly what's going on. And then she gets over to me and I'm like, this is our first time one-on-one. Her grandkids haven't gone yet. And I'm like, where are you at? How you doing? And she's like, I'm terrified. I'm like, you want to get down and not do this? She goes, no. I told them I would do it for their 12th birthday. They're twins. And
this is their grandmother?
Yes, their grandmother. And
hey, Grandma.
Yeah.
Hey, Mimi.
Oh, yeah. I wish
Lucy said she wants to go ziplining.
Right? Come on, let's go. It's good stuff. So I said, okay. I got you every step of the way. If you ever need to bail out, I have the escape ladders. There's an exit at every turn. Just letting her know I'm here with you and I got you. And then when the other guide came up, I kind of informed her of what was going on. So we were both keeping an eye on her, and she was struggling a little bit. But like with training or coaching of any kind, you have to struggle a little bit to understand what you can push through. And she was pushing herself through it. But like you, I was there saying, where are you at? Okay, well, this might help you do a little bit better. Let me guide you through this and help you achieve your goal. Because she didn't want to bail out. She had promised those kids she was going to do it. And I was like, I'll honor that. But if at any time you need to,
yeah,
you and me, I'm being real. And there was a no sunglass policy at the zipline park, and it's for that very reason. So I could look you in the eye and check, because there's a connection. And the last one was about 300 yards from 27 feet up in the trees all the way down.
How fast do you go?
I think you get about 35 on that one.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I have GPS footage that clocks my speed on it and stuff, so yeah. And I knew how to rip it, so.
Oh man, my my butthole is puckering just thinking about because but I went parasailing
Yeah.
and I thought that was going to be super scary and it was like not scary at all. So like I wonder if a zip line is similar in that way. You know what I mean?
I would imagine so. I haven't done
Is it
paragliding.
Is it quiet?
You got the
You
wheels, zzz, so no, it's not quiet.
but there's no other noise, just that.
The wind blowing through your hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're really good at picking up on people's like emotions and feelings and sensing that. Would you say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean I
But
know.
before we leave Grandma behind, I got to tell the end of the story. because
Oh yeah.
it's-
No.
It's the best part.
No. Okay. Go.
'Cause Grandma, she came off that last zip line, just happy, screaming, crying. She was just like, I did it. She got off there and she's like, I did it. Like, hell yeah, you didn't. It was all you. It was all you. She was so proud that she had overcome all of those fears and anxieties and all the nuances of taking the first trip parasailing, taking the first time around the zipline park. She had overcome all of that in that day to be there for her grandkids. And it just meant so much to her. And it was just such a special moment to share. And I shared that type of overcoming every time, but you don't often hear what the struggle is like. But with that woman, we connected in a way that I knew what the struggle was. She was terrified of heights, and she was afraid she was going to fall at any time. She had everything you can feel and makes your butthole pucker.
Yeah.
She had all of that in a shaking body in front of me, and she pushed through. And I think it was being there and being supportive and being positive and encouraging versus the other options of coaching. It's a very unique coaching style, but it's a very good coaching style because it's, hey, I'll meet you where you can meet yourself. A little bit farther, right? A little bit farther, right? Okay, we're there. Okay, next time we'll go there.
Well, I think something that you're underestimating is that you gave her a place to put her fear, and then in return, you just encouraged her back.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm afraid. You're like, okay, I hear you. You're afraid, right? And but you're right, but you can do this. And that's all you did. And you just did that over and over again in different ways and saying different things, right?
And
But, like-
acknowledging every hey, look, we're getting a little bit higher. You see that? She's like, don't tell me, Brian. Oh, don't tell me. But I'm like, yeah, but look, you're doing it. I'm pointing out you're doing it. Look how far you've come. And that's something I do in my tech job. It's like, look how far we've come. Look at the milestones we have, But anyways, that's
Well,
another subject.
okay, so you bring up the tech job thing. I have clients that work in tech. Like, it's so much harder to get that real kind of raw emotion around like this tech plan, right? Because there's corporate involved. There's like, we got to hit deadlines, we got to do this, and then all the corporate measures that come along, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing something like maybe that's why they take corporate events ziplining, but nobody's learning anything apparently.
But you're building team and trust.
Yeah,
And that's what you get. That you take that back into the boardroom or the war room.
allegedly.
Right. You take that back in, and then now you have somebody you can trust a little bit more because you've gone through some adversity together. And teams are built better by adversity. I think the Eagles are a prime example. Both teams this year were a prime example of having overcome adversity to succeed further. And the Eagles really exemplified that. I adapted, I overcame, I practiced my weaknesses, and I strengthened my strengths and moved forward in a very unique way.
If this ends up to being too personal, nobody will ever hear it. I'll just cut it out, and I'll just leave this part too. I like doing stuff like that. No, like we've known each other for a long time.
Right?
How long did you say? Like 20 years?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
21.
Yeah, and
We could drink.
and there were times where like, let me just say like I was worried about you, like you worry about the people that you care about.
Yeah.
Right. And man, like sitting here right now, you're a different person. You're such a different person, and you should be extremely proud. You know what I mean? Because like all that hard work and all that stuff that you sludged through, like those emotions and stuff, like to get you to here. You know what I mean? Like you did. Amen. You've
Thank you.
done an amazing job,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
and you finally have style.
No, this is just the
No,
same old,
like,
this is the same old shit I've been wearing.
No, I mean, I love your look.
Thank you. It's all natural, it's just me. I don't put product on my hair. I try to keep it wet because it frizzes. Oof, I got my grandma's hair.
Well, you got to put in this. This is something I've learned on my long hair journey. You got to put in like leave-in conditioner. That's what you got to put.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
So like,
I'll take that home.
and hey, and I just use like Paul Mitchell. Apparently, like
I finally got off the 2-in-1 hair care product, so I'm making baby steps. I have real conditioner, but I will take that leave-in conditioner idea.
yeah, no. What? So like, this is look. Hey, do you want to know what I do with my hair? Like, okay. This is not being braggadocious, but people do say I have good hair. It's also really thick. Okay. Anyways, okay. So this is my secrets. If you want to know, this is my hair secrets. Okay,
Yeah,
ready?
dude.
I use mane and tail horse shampoo.
Okay.
Okay.
I've heard that before.
Okay. And then I just let it air dry. And then I put in this leave-in conditioner. And then I just like let it air dry till it's dry.
Okay.
And that's it. That's all I do.
I'm gonna give that a whirl. Yeah, no.
And then and then I don't wash it for like 3 weeks or longer. And I think that makes a difference.
I usually go a week, but the first few days it's like.
Oh, my hairdresser's like, you go how long?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, like Aaron says it doesn't stink, and
That's I remember growing up and we didn't shower but once a week. I think there's natural oils in your hair and body that do enhance by going longer between washes.
I mean, but sometimes I'm like, man, how
But
do
I mean,
people?
you get funky, you gotta do something.
Well, yeah, or then like, how do people get to like dreads? Because
I can't.
ultimately, like, I don't like my
Yeah.
scalp would hurt too much.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I can't wear. There's some ball caps that I still love that I can't wear anymore because it and the hair.
Just get too much.
Yeah, they don't like each other.
All right, can I go back? If you don't want to answer this question, I would totally understand.
Oh, did I?
No.
Did I
No,
avert-
no.
Did I avert it?
No, not really. I didn't really ask anything,
Okay.
but what did you take away from both the experiences of losing both your dad and your stepdad? Like the time there in the end. What did you take away from it?
Well, it goes back to before I got laid off, because my stepdad and I were not friends when I was younger. There's a whole backstory that could be an entire podcast, but through baseball we reconnected, and that was here in Austin, Texas. Doing my big brother, big sister. Stanton, shout out to Scottie, he's watching. I know, or Scott, he's watching. You met him. a couple times.
Yep.
Yeah. So through baseball, I reconnected with my stepdad, and part of the taking time off from the corporate gig and taking that time off to be a zipline guide and do those other things was to reconnect with my stepdad and get him up here where I can care for him in his senior years.
In Oregon.
In Washington.
In
We
Washington.
were in Castle Rock, Washington at that point.
Okay.
I'd been at the same RV park for about 4 years. He was there. He lived on campus there for 2 years. And then he was falling down and stuff, so we rented a house there in Castle Rock. So, yeah, it was to spend time with my stepdad. And then in 2019, my stepmother passed. And I went down to help my sister with all that. And me and my father reconnected. So the start of the last 5 years was reconnecting with them and being with them, an adult, and not combating, not engaging in the stuff. My dad would try some stuff, old patterns. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. I'm here. I'm just going to be here. I'm not going to engage in that. You have your tantrum, whatever. Same with my stepdad. He'd have his issues and tantrums. I'm like, okay, I'm not here in that old Brian capacity. I'm here to support you and be there and do that same, nurturing, caregiving, and sitting with them as they aged and ultimately passed. And what do I take from both their passings is did right by them.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Because secret.
Yeah.
I mean, when Brian says they didn't always get along, I mean, like, I at least know I know that much. You know what I mean? I know that, like, I mean, it was like no relationship.
Yeah.
Pretty much. You know what I mean?
Abusive.
And so,
It was emotionally abusive.
yeah, and so you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember there were times where you're like, I have no interest in having a relationship with these people because of everything that's happened. And so I just want to guess that probably when you let go of all that and you did what you did, that's part of the big change in you that who I see sitting in front of me, right?
That was the beginning of it. In physical presence, my dad would still get explosive. There was a couple defining moments that I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave your house and I'm not gonna come back. And yeah, you should leave and go. And I'm like, okay, okay, goodbye. But I still called him every 2 weeks or every week, and we talked frequently and tried to get a couple of one-on-one times away from his stress, but that didn't happen. But I did reopen and reconnect a lot of that, which that opened old wounds. Living with my stepdad opened old wounds. I mean, there's triggers that I wasn't even close to aware of, but I had done a lot of genuflection on my hikes, on my wilderness adventures. I've dosed in medicines, and I really was able to say, those are not my problems. I'm here to help you. The triggers, I'm like, those aren't my problems. I'm here to help you. And it was tough from Dan to receive living with me because, wrestling old, we've had combat for all of our lives. And one day he said to me, he's like, you don't know what I'm going through. Dan, I've been emotionally regulating your emotions so that you're calm before I can have any of my own. I know exactly what you're going through. And I repeated exactly every feeling he's having at that moment. I guess you do pay attention. I'm like, I've been reading you my whole life.
Well, because he's not telling you, he ain't telling you nothing.
He never has.
Yeah, he's just expecting you to know, and so all you had to do was observation, right?
Right. And when I didn't know, there was explosive repercussions when I was younger.
Yeah.
So, because he did not deny his alcoholism in the older years. I mean, the beauty of our relationship with my stepdad, Dan and I, was we became adults and sat together and looked back at our past and our shared past. And that's where the majority of my healing came from, was seeing the same experiences and traumas that I saw through his eyes. Because we experienced the same timeline for a very long time.
Yeah.
And some of his traumas were trickled down my traumas because I lived under his household.
Sure.
So, we really were able to speak openly about that.
And that's where y'all connected.
Yeah. In the last few years, me and my stepdad Dan, I say my stepdad, he was my dad, Dan. It gets very confusing when you have two dads, especially when you say, well, when my dad died the second time and I was away from work, which I do comedically sometimes.
Yeah.
But Dan and I really healed a lot of wounds together in the last couple of years, and I'm honored to have walked that walk. It is not an easy walk. Sit down with somebody who at one time you wished ill into whatever happened to because you're just ruining my family and from a child's perspective, and then to meet this man on the other side, in my middle age, his geriatric age, and reflect and see why things went down the way they did.
I've been thinking about this thing, and maybe you have some thoughts on it, but like, I feel like I'm living multiple lives at different times, right? There was like my 20s, and then my 30s, there's this period, and then now I'm in this other phase. And, I'm not necessarily proud of everything I did. But I don't think I did anything really bad. That I don't have a lot of regrets around a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? And it must be tough to have like probably be old and have like a lot of perspective and then real big regrets.
Right.
And then be living with the person that was the punching bag for all those things.
Right.
And then y'all heal that together by bonding over, almost like bonding over the trauma. You know what I mean? That's wild.
He had no choice. He lived with me, and I just, would get high and talk about it.
But I mean, like, you know,
yeah,
but
it
but
is
like,
wild.
but okay, but like, do you think you kind of freed his soul too? I mean, like, you know, it gave you something, but it really gave him something. Because think about how many old people die without like really fixing shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I think when my grandmother passed away, my mom, they weren't in the best spot. When my grandfather passed away, they weren't in the best spot. I don't want to misspeak, but maybe.
Right.
And so, you know, it has an impact.
It did, and it helped him quite a bit. And there was, the explosive impulses I learned later in life were not triggered by me all the time because he has them in his
Yeah,
senior years.
yeah. It wasn't just you, right?
Yeah, no, it wasn't just me. I'm like, oh, okay, I see you better now, Dan. And I would talk to him about it because he'd curse himself out, just cussing left, right, and center about what an asshole and idiot you are. You fucked up this, that, and the other because his agoraphobia kept him locked into. He was scared to go outside, so he was battling himself to try and go to even the doctor's appointments or anything didn't go right. He would just get very agitated and he cursed himself out. And I looked at him one day and I was like, don't talk to my friend that way. Like, I like that person. You wouldn't let me talk to anybody else like that. You don't get to talk to my friend Dan that way. And he kind of went, oh, I didn't look at it that way. He was cursing himself out, but not realizing how mean he was being to himself.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
very mean to himself. I was like, you don't get to do that. So, there's something you mentioned about the, not having many regrets and not having, not proud of the proudest moments and stuff. And we all have that. I mean, I have things that, yeah, I wish I'd have done it differently. I've had those explosive fits where I've cursed myself out about, oh, you're such a, but what I've learned is the most healing thing is to take any one of those moments that you're not proud of and use it as a learning opportunity and learning a way to do it differently. So whether it's a tiny little infraction or going to jail for 20 years, what do you do with that teaching? The universe puts something in front of you for a reason. Something is causing this chaos. There to teach you something. So what in that moment is teaching you? And I think that is a lot of the healing that I was able to give Dan was, what is causing your irritation? Well, because he'd make up excuses, then I get to the root of it. He's like, well, this went wrong first thing in the morning, and then that led to this, and that led to that, and he would give me his whole spiral. I was like, okay. So we learned to say, okay, well, when things go bad the first time, lay back down. Start over. Relax. There's nothing we can't do better. It's just no reason to get all upset about it. So I, like the woman on the zip line, I gave him a safe space to air his fears and say, okay, I see you. I got you. We're going to walk through this together.
I mean, okay. Am I wrong? That's what we're kind of all supposed to be doing, right?
That's what I was told as a kid. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like whenever you, you're not the first person to say something like that, right? So
Right.
so it's like every time I hear it, I'm kind of like, yeah, like totally makes sense to me. I don't
Right.
understand why everybody else is not getting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that common sense thing, that common sense of duty, can't be perfect. There's family members that I can't have a relationship with because it's too toxic. But where you can show up.
Yeah, I think that, that's why I'm always preaching things like, hey, like how you take care of yourself is how you treat other people. Because like I know like as basic example, if I don't go to the gym or make time for that, then I start to be an asshole. So you know what I mean. So it's on my list, and I take care of. There's a reason why I do that. There's a reason why I meditate. There's a reason why I eat the way I do, because it's not just benefiting me; it's benefiting everyone else around me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like that's the least you could do. Is like not dump your shit on me. That's the least you could do.
Right.
I mean, at least you could carry it.
Well, and those are the steps I call refilling your cup.
Yeah.
Because you can't pour from an empty cup. And the things you just described, those are things that fill your cup. Those give you energy to share.
Yeah.
Those fill your soul. Those give you that identity purpose. But then beyond that, you can give back to the non-self identity purpose of helping others.
I went to shout out to Total Wine. I don't know if you'll ever give me some sort of sponsor. That would be cool. Yeah, I mean, they are a great place. I found those IPAs. I mean the pale ales. So I knew I don't know anything about beer apparently. Anyways, so as we were checking out, the lady said, "All right, like here's your receipt," and I said, "What did I say?" I said, "Thank you," and she said, "You're welcome," and I said, "Have a great day," and she said, "Welcome," and I was like, "Oh, like she didn't even hear me,
Right.
like she's so programmed in that like, and no, I guess no one tells her have a nice day,
Right.
and I was like, man, that sucks."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Me and a good friend of mine, we have this game that we play is how much kindness we can spread through a store. It's like if you go shopping and stuff, just smile at somebody come in the store. Where somebody would be like irritated in another different situation, just pour on the shine and just be like with the cashier, just give that extra interaction. And we've noticed that the next time we go into that store, everything's a little bit positive, more positive. It's like a drop in the water in the pond, and it just kind of seems to radiate.
You know, I've never thought of this out loud, but like as an example, there's a coffee shop that I go to all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like at this point, I mean, people disappear from that place all the time. I don't know what other coffee shops are like, but it is a constant turnstile of baristas. I mean, just coming through there, right? So the ones that are there for a while, like I get to know them, right? And so like, you know, I'm always kind of maybe like just like cutting up or making jokes or saying, "Oh, like a shirt today," or you know, kind of want interacting with them. And I've never thought about this. Like, think about how many people, like the first time they go into a place, and they're going to end up going to this place a lot because maybe they moved to the area, and they're like an a-hole to like the person behind the counter. And then from that day forward, every time you walk in there, they're like, "Oh, here comes that guy." You know what I mean? Unless maybe the second time you're nice, and maybe they go, "Oh, he's having a bad day."
It's a bad day, yeah.
But then probably, if you're an a-hole the first time, you're probably an a-hole the second time too.
But I mean, you can't change your character.
But to your point, like when I was telling that lady like have a nice day, that was me like sprinkling. Is he called sprinkling kindness? Is that yeah? Like
Great
that. I mean, like that cost me nothing.
Yeah.
Even then, she didn't hear it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
No.
it didn't cost me anything.
It made you feel good to do it.
Yeah, because I was just like, God, like what would I want to hear right now? You know, because there's like I mean, like they needed more cashiers, and there's some guy at the like customer service, and he needs a receipt from like 2 weeks ago for something. I'm like, bro, like didn't you pay digitally?
Right.
Like, can't you just look on your bank statement? You gotta come up here looking for a receipt.
Yeah.
That's a ramble.
No, it's spot on because, you know, I just went through the airport today and, you know, there's 2.5 inches of snow in Portland this morning. And, you know, I did get to drive the old truck down the freeway and 4x4, so that's fun, you know, bouncing down the old truck. And I was 5:30 arrival at the airport. I was like, I got 2 hours before check-in. I'm good. There was lines that they didn't have queues for out the door. So that's where people really show their irritability and crankiness and how they are. It's gotten
In
better.
an airport line at 5 a.m.
And
Oh.
we were all expecting to breeze right through because there should be nobody there, but apparently there's a busy tournaments or whatever, so it's a busy flying day.
The only thing that's worse is a bunch of Americans in a foreign airport at 5 a.m. when shit doesn't go right.
Right.
Because they have this expectation that like everything.
Fix it now. Why is it not fixed now?
Fix it, Felix.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want a beer?
Sure.
Ready?
Take two.
No, I didn't stop the camera, but it's another place I can line it up at.
Every mic's a hot mic.
All right, this is the Ozark Blues. Is that brewery? Ozarka Blues. What does that say? Oh, yours. How did this end up in there with it? Anyway, this is Mas Lima, salt and lime cerveza.
Yep.
You just gotta. That just look. You know what that?
Pale's American Pale Ale.
When I saw that, it just made me think like Detroit, Michigan, or like I was like, is that the beer from The Simpsons?
I think it's from Liberty Hill.
Is it really?
I don't know.
Well, how was that Zilker Pale Ale?
It's good. Yeah,
Right?
it's a little more hoppy. This is more malty.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, nothing. You know, my lack of beer knowledge is not your fault. You know
No.
I just never got into it like other people got. I I didn't get into any of that kind of stuff. I got into sneakers. That's where I got my nerd now. But none of my friends are even remotely interested in that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've always enjoyed a good beer. Down here when I lived in Texas, it was like Coors Light, Bud Light. You know, that's what the majority of people drink. And like, no, I need more because I had pale ale there. I had microbrews in California before, and I was like, no, we didn't have them back then here in Texas. So yeah,
Okay, when did you get to Texas? What year?
2000.
So you grew up in California, though, right? In San Diego?
I was raised in the Sierra Nevadas. I moved to San Diego in '95 to go to Scripps Institute of Oceanography, but I was paying my way through school, and that got a little expensive. So that's
what? Okay, so what kind of were you drinking beer in California? What beers did you drink in California?
I was yeah. Slow down. Yeah, I had learned about pumpkin spice beer. I went to meet my sister in Pleasanton, and she's like, "Oh, we're gonna have these microbrews," and I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever." I think I was 22, 21 at the time or something. And her and her boyfriend were going out to this place, and they were all raving about this microbrew, this, and oh, we drink Coors Light. That's what we were raised on. And then I was like, damn, that's good. It's a different flavor. You know, it had the pumpkin spice, and it was more of a stout body versus a malt or a hoppy body. So yeah, I really found out I really enjoy a diverse palate of beer.
Well, it's kind of like growing up in a small town in Texas. Like the only beers that like you're looking to get are like cold and cheap,
Right?
And
Yeah.
so like it's like a Coors Light, like whatever you could get, right? And then you get out in the real world with like money, and then you go, oh, there's other kinds of beers, or at least some people do, I guess.
Yeah, and I actually had to learn that earlier than most because I had a unique allergy that I found out about on a flight when I was living in San Diego.
What do you mean?
So there's some sugars in alcohol because it's a yeast product. So some are fermented in ways that I have an allergic reaction to, and I start getting anaphylaxis.
What are they?
Usually the lower grade cheap stuff. So at a very young age, I learned that I'm a liquor snob because I have to drink the cleaner stuff, just because it was keeping me alive. That sounds weird, but I wouldn't go into anaphylaxis with it. So like, yeah, Grand Marnier stuff. Oof, that's just anything with simple syrup. Nope, I'm down. So I was like, oh, you're just bougie with your stuff. But what I learned is same with beer. You get what you pay for. So if you pay a little bit more in cash, you don't pay for it in the body the next day. The hangover isn't as bad when you have the higher end stuff. You know, there's a quality in the product.
Well, you want a better quality of poison,
Right?
You know what I mean? If you're gonna ingest poison, you want good quality poison.
Make sure
you know what?
Don't hurt me so bad. Give me the high but not the low.
So, oh man, we went to this wedding recently, and I just had like 3 beers, and I haven't been drinking a whole bunch, right? And so my sleep was so jacked up,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, wow, I didn't realize how much of an impact this has on me.
Yeah. Especially if you're not doing it regularly,
Yeah.
because there's people that can't sleep without having some alcohol. My grandfather was that way, and when he quit, he was like, oh, I'm just having a shot of NyQuil before I go to bed. I'm like, just snip. You know, it's the same thing, Grandpa.
Okay, can we okay, really quickly. So you know what ZQL is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So like doesn't ZQL seem like a problem?
Yes.
Like you know what I mean? Like you're like, okay, so like it's not wink wink NyQuil.
Right.
So you seem like an addict.
Right,
It's just
right,
like it's just ZQL.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always thought that was strange.
Yeah.
But maybe it's so mothers don't feel so bad for drugging their children.
There could be that. Yeah, it could be that. You know, I think you might be onto something there.
Oh,
Yeah.
horrible.
Uh,
Oh, okay. So tell me,
you're not wrong though.
okay, wait. So apparently, I don't know when Vagabond Cowboy started. So when did this all? Because like I know what that's like. I know what that's like to kind of gravitate towards something that it feels like an announcement of who you are, right?
Right.
So when did that start?
At the Vagabond Brewing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I had done well with my remote work, to the point where I didn't have to work my local work anymore. Paid off all my debts, and so I had been traveling around. I'd been on the coast, and I was in Salem, and then Vagabond Brewing was in Salem, and I got there, sat there, and got to know people. The thing is, every place I go, I have one haunt that I go to. It's not something I choose. It just happens. It's where I find I'm comfortable and that I can meet.
It feels like home. Like it feels like an extension of home, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. It's where I go to socialize, so I just want it to be social and friendly and stuff.
And safe social.
Right. Because when you work remote full time and you're out in the woods the rest of the time, you got to be
Balance it out.
you gotta talk to people at some point.
Yeah.
So Vagabond Brewing was there, and I at the time was keeping a journal, handwritten journal, of a lot of what I call my crazy thoughts, little poems, little scratches, little ideas, whatever. So I call it my crazy thoughts journal, and I was carrying it with me. I've always had a fountain pen with me. Have several today. So I'd have my fountain pen, and I'd start writing stuff down in that journal. And then, oddly enough, I was like, oh, somebody told me about Instagram. They're all doing Pokemon Go at that point. And I was like, no, I'm not jumping on that bag one. You guys go do that. And I found out that I found Instagram right before it was bought by Meta, and it was a photographer site. I was like, that's cool. That's something where I can put up stuff. And so it was around that time that I was starting to put up photos, and I was like, I'm going to be the Vagabond Cowboy, Vagabond Brewing, and maybe being one of their regular customers and living my fifth wheel trailer and being a vagabond and stuff. So I was like, I kind of lived the life before I realized I was going to write stuff about it, and do something with it. It was just a random pick of a username on Instagram because I didn't want to be associated with me because I don't like social media at all.
But I would argue it wasn't really random. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like-
it's kind of,
like
I looked
it-
back at all the notes and went, okay.
Do you know,
This
do
is
you
a
know what I'm
natural
saying?
fit. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think like like you found something that spoke to you, embraced it, and like we find inspiration everywhere,
Right.
right? So like, just thank God you didn't go to like somewhere else that was a totally bad name brewery. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like like Two-Headed Monk Brewery or something like that. You know what I mean? Then you're like, oh, my Instagram name is the Two-Headed Monk.
Well, there's a lot worse names than that one too.
I guess that's true. Okay, so
Okay.
okay,
It started there. Yeah.
okay. Tell me, so with your journals,
Mhm.
these are your crazy book. These are your crazy thoughts.
Started off that way.
So what? So tell me more. Tell me more about crazy thoughts.
Well, I have horrible penmanship, and the book was just a little quarter journal, so it was just enough to write down enough thoughts. So just random poems, random writings, something to write and write down something that happened about the day. So it was just what stuff I was going through at the time. It was my crazy thoughts.
Would you go back and read them?
Oh yeah.
Do you go back and read them now, or did they?
I haven't
does
opened
it-
that. I haven't opened that journal in a couple of years, but it's on my altar.
So yeah, so like there's like it's like a shifting in phase and time, and so journals fall out and journals come in,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Well, and then I started doing digital journaling again, which I'd gotten away from a while. But I found an app that made it easy to do a daily entry journal. So I started using that on the daily because I could type much faster. I can type 1,500 words in half an hour. So, a 30-minute session is just half, 6-page essay.
Do you still try to write at times though?
Oh, I
like,
do. I do
like,
it every day.
like you still, so you type every day and write every day.
Oh yeah, I still carry journals and stuff with me. The stuff I write and the crazy thought stuff is the stuff I really want to come true.
So it's like okay. So wait. So when you say crazy thoughts, it's like manifestations of things that like you're like, oh, that would be nuts if I had all this land and all these wild horses and this mansion and blah blah blah. All these. That's crazy thoughts.
Or that someday I'd land my dream job.
Yeah, but I don't. But they're really not like it, they should be called like manifestations.
Yeah.
But I guess to other people, they might look at it as like, oh, those are crazy thoughts.
Right. That's your pipe dream. You're not going to do that. You're not going to follow up on that. That was a large part of my dad's had all these crazy ideas and would never act on it. Man, I remember he did come up with an idea of some fire extinguisher pattern stuff, and then all of a sudden 6 months later a company has produced it. Like, remember when I had that crazy thought? And I'm like, yeah, I do. My bio dad, yeah, he'd have thoughts all the time, and then like 2 years later, his idea, there it is on the road. Just it was weird, something I noticed. So I just started writing down my crazy thoughts, and seeing which ones came true.
Did a lot of them come true?
Do what?
Or did a lot of them come true?
I'm here today
Yeah.
in your garage.
Was this a crazy
Hell
thought?
yeah.
No, get out of
You
here.
were often in my crazy thoughts.
Okay. Give it. I got to hear more. Tell me more.
Well, because you and my friend Jesse both are kind of on this new adventure of different ways of
I got my own crazy thoughts.
right.
Yeah.
And you're manifesting your own reality. And I've watched Jesse, manifest a spa in his backyard with two, cast iron tubs and make it into a really reputable spa in Portland. And then manifest moving to Hawaii and making that happen. So you both have that creative type that I see you, and I want to manifest my life to kind of follow your vision. See what you're doing and succeeding at, not to mimic, but to see how you conquer the challenges that come with it, the timing, the scheduling, the different day-to-day stuff that you've added into your craft here that is becoming and is evolving as a craft. I mean, you go way back. So yeah, you're in my crazy thoughts of wanting you to succeed because you're one of my friends. Wouldn't it be crazy if Scottie?
Well, I appreciate that very much. And also, like, I don't know if we said this when we were on camera, but like we've tried to we've tried to record this before and
Right.
not been able to, and then we did it online, and just like, I was like, oh dude, you just got to be here. It's just not
Right.
not the same. And
Agreed.
it's not the same, right?
Agreed, 100%.
Yeah, you didn't, because you don't get to eat pizza with a 4-year-old on Zoom.
The best. No, you can't. It was the best. I got interviewed by a 4-year-old.
I know.
It
See,
was
see,
awesome.
that's what I
Yeah.
should do. I should have her like warm up everybody,
Right?
and then she can just take over.
hmm
Like, okay, so
She's actually going to come back and ask the hard questions in 20 minutes.
yeah. Oh no, it's past bedtime.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's really not, but like the door's locked. She's not getting back in. No, like, so one of my crazy thoughts is when I first started doing all this is that I wanted to have a show kind of like what NPR does, where they do like Tiny Desk. Like I wanted like Lil Garage, and like recently I've tried it so many times and it's failed like every single time, right? And we kind of nailed it this last time.
Nice.
And I was like, man, that was a real big deal. That was a real big accomplishment.
Yeah.
That was a crazy thought that I would, I'm that much closer to these other crazy ideas that I have. You know what I mean? And it sounds, I'm sure it sounds nuts to my friends, and I'm sure that they get tired of me kind of talking like that. But like, I can also see, like when I've seen other people, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. You know what I mean? It might not be that crazy to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that might be crazy to me, and what I'm doing might be crazy to you, but it might not be that crazy to them actually.
Right.
Because I'm sure, like, all the like when
whatever's on
Taylor
their path.
Swift was like coming up, there was somebody telling her she sucks. You know what I mean?
Just a few.
You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
mean, like, it's just kind of part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know?
It is. And sadly, it's kind of prevalent in all areas of society where I think, one, if you have the crazy thought and you succeed, everybody attacks you for it. But if you have that crazy thought and don't do anything with it, everybody attacks you for it. It's like they don't want you to succeed, because if your crazy thought is real, then they want to be you and be what you are. I don't know.
No, I think
Blah, blah, blah.
no. I think that
Jarble train hit.
no, I
Stroke
think
brain.
no, I think that when there are things that you want to do, and you have, there's people that personally that are doing something that you would want to do. It's a weird fight that you have with yourself, because like if you want to do it, you just do it. But so
Right.
so the question is, why are you not doing it?
Right.
And that's not really that dude's fault. That's not that person's fault. You know what I mean? So they're pulling something out of you, and they don't even probably know that they're doing that. They don't even know that they're triggering you in that way, because it's not about them, it's about you and how you feel about them. And like in my little opinion, what's made this podcast at least as good and real as it is so far is because that we just have good and real kind of conversations.
100%.
Yeah.
And you show up authentically yourself. And that's you just be. You just,
Yeah, this is it.
Just be you. Yeah, it's just us. It's just we aren't putting on any persona. It's not. This is the same Scottie I've known for 21 years. Just
Okay. We're we're gonna do a real quick quiz.
okay.
Okay. Okay. Would this podcast be the same if we wore headphones right now?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, would it feel like we're sitting in natural conversation? Like if you looked over at me, I'm wearing headphones, or does it feel like we're kind of sitting in this room just like chit chatting?
I prefer the sitting room chit chatting.
Right. Like the headphones kind of takes away from the feel of like, hey, we're just sitting and chit chatting.
Right. If we're not taking callers, why do we need headphones? I don't need to hear your feedback. I can hear your feedback.
You hear that, Jason and Joe? He said no. I did talk. I did swerve him over to my side.
I know it's the hip thing to do these days, but it really serves no functional purpose unless you're calling in the air traffic.
Well, look. This is my whole thing. Is that like, if there was a way where we didn't have to necessarily see these, and we maybe like a boom mic or something like that, right? That like, I wanted to be like we're just like in the room talking.
But even if you had your boom mic set up right, you wouldn't need that unless you're like in separate rooms. I mean, unless you need to talk to the radio room.
Maybe I'll just get a boom mic.
You do these.
Just hanging from the seat.
Yeah, pointed at each chair. It's been done before, I think. That's
probably how like people that look like they're just sitting talking to each other. That's what they do. But like when you I'm gonna be honest, when you first start a podcast, you kind of want microphones like this because these look cool.
They do,
right?
Yeah, they do.
Well, it's just weird to say that, like, hey, I wanted microphones because they look cool.
Everything sets a vibe, and it's the vibe you wanted to create. It's not about what the brand of the microphone is. It's about the aesthetics you create. And that's the art that you're creating. That's the art, the backdrop, the chairs, the ambiance. You're creating that art. This is just a tool to capture that. And there's different tools to capture different aspects.
I like all this. This is all great. This is all backing up.
I'm not on salary, but I can be bought.
Pizza.
And a beer.
Yeah.
Beer.
Okay.
Beer
Wait. Okay.
Pizza.
So, what are the journals you brought? What are the journals you brought?
Well,
just like you got one that you like a favorite one.
So, we talked about a couple things here. We talked about the beginning of the Vagabond Cowboy, and that would be that. And that is riddled with hashtags, and it's not readable. I've never gone back and refinished it, but this was my original idea, and it was to take my photography and present the photo on the right, but the words that I'm thinking on the back. So you get time with the image with your own self, and then on the back side, I'm giving you my poetry or crazy thoughts that are the Vagabond Cowboy's crazy thoughts.
But I never read them as like crazy thoughts though. Wait, no. These are not. I didn't get the same ones.
Yeah, that's
is that the same ones?
You got 3, 4, and 5.
Oh,
I think. Or
what
4,
is
5, and
this?
6. That's 1 and 2. Those are the OGs. That's the beginning of the Vagabond Cowboy caricature, and I was using Instagram to post these, and I would base the likes that I got on them to what I would publish in the book. So those are like the top. The first couple of years, that's what I was doing. Those are like the top liked photos of my work. And then I would put in whatever caption I had on Instagram in it.
Okay. So I know I've gotten some of these, but who all gets these? Who all do you send these to?
A very select few.
Okay. I feel very honored, but
yeah.
I figured, because I know you, I figured it's select, but like, can you tell me who are the other people? Will you tell me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lorraine, my mother, Dana, my friend Dana, and then full copy was my mom and my stepdad. I already said my mom, sorry. And my stepdad. My dad didn't get any about dad. So you're one of the, probably a dozen, maybe.
Again, I feel honored.
Yeah. Nobody has the first one. That did not get. I sent that one out to my mom, and she was like the sunrise one.
This one?
Yeah. That's a lolly butte. Um, but yeah, that was the year I went and sat in the wilderness for a week and was like, this is what I moved back to the West Coast for.
Okay, so you did things like I remember. So we even worked on like over like Skype, I think, or something
yeah.
for a while
Yeah.
you were gone and stuff like that. But then like you would go on these like weeks in the wilderness like trips.
hmm
What did you do during those weeks? What would you do?
Well, for the most significant one that was, um,
Was that this one?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, Olali. Yeah, that'd be it.
Okay,
Um,
anyways, go.
So I had sinus surgery. I had my birthday week scheduled to go camping up there, but I had a sinus surgery that was planned the week before. And I asked the doctor, I said, so can I go camping? He's like, yeah, just don't lift anything over 25 pounds. So my buddy Dan and I, we loaded up the truck, made sure my kayak and everything, all the wood was in there. I just had everything could be pushed out of the truck. I didn't have to lift anything. Um, so I'm like, cool. So my buddy Dan drove me home from the hospital, slept overnight, and went out to the woods and sat by the woods. Just sat there. Went hiking with the dogs. Just kayaked a little bit, floated on the water, didn't lift anything. Sat by the campfires, just journaled. Just observed a lot of stuff. I had a family of hawks come back, or eagles, come visit me on the daily. Yeah, when I came in for my 1 week checkup after surgery, he says, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. I said, sitting around breathing campfire smoke out in the woods. He's like, keep doing it. So I turned around and went right back up there and took my vacation. Same spot. Out there for another week. Hiking.
Okay, but you know like how incredibly hard that is for people to do?
Yes.
Okay,
It's
so
incredibly difficult for me for the first 24 hours because all that noise.
so tell me about the first 24 hours.
So you first get up there and, like for me, I'm a lister. Everything's got a plan. Everything's got a place. I got my bins that have this, that, and the other. So I'm fairly organized, and I'm a solo party. It's chaotic the more people and more parties you have involved. But so that first day is, getting there, finding a site, setting up your site, setting up your base camp, setting it so you can, rest and relax after that. And that's when a lot of people, they just want to show up and party and drink. And I'm like, there's chores to be done. You got to know where you're going to fall down before you need to fall down. An ounce of planning is worth a pound of prevention, however that goes.
Sounded right.
Yeah, I'm the type that likes, let's get camp set up and then relax. So people don't like my style of camping because I'm like, nope, chores. Then,
You're the third pig.
but yeah, but
Yeah,
But then
we're building a brick house.
when I'm sitting down having my beer on the campfire, they're asking help for. I'm like, nope, I'll fall over. So no, and then after that, it's like once you wake up with the sun, that's when things start. The natural rhythms start coming in. But then you're still checking your phone, maybe every hour instead of every 10 minutes or every 2 minutes or however often we do it, and then going for a hike after that, a breakfast, then a morning hike, and after that you're pretty like you're in tune with nature and you're gonna observe things that are different.
When was the first time you did that?
I was 4.
What do you mean?
With my dad. We went camping when I was 4, right after he split with my mom. I remember being out, like, it was just me and him that one time. I don't know why, my sister was friends or something, but he wanted to take me out, so we did. It was just, taught me how to be still in the wilderness and listen to the fire and hear the critters.
That is your real dad?
Bio dad, yeah.
And your real dad did not get a copy of the book?
No, we weren't speaking.
Will you tell me what happened?
I could tell you in a very short term, or I could tell you a long, story about why it persisted so long.
Tell me whatever you're comfortable with.
Well, there's a time when you're a young man and you're right, and your father's not.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I know, but I got to not back you up. I got to back my wife up. And so my trust was broken. At that point, our relationship fractured. We could never get over that until
This was your
this is
stepmom.
my bio dad.
No. This is your real dad and your stepmom. He chose
Yes.
your stepmom over you.
Yes.
But that was what he said. Yeah,
Yep. It was a flat out right versus wrong, and I was like, okay, you're gonna choose somebody over your own son. Okay. So I was like, okay, that was the division. And there was a lot of stuff that my sister used that to divide us. Well, if he loved you, he'd do this and blah, blah, blah. And just poured salt on that wound for years and years. But yeah, that was it.
because y'all weren't talking, right?
We went off and on for a few rounds of our entire life, not talking and talking. Because I'd continually hold that line. You know, you got to be truthful to me. And if I don't have your trust, you don't have mine. You don't respect you. You got to respect me. I'm like, I respect you as an older gentleman, but he after we reconciled in 2019, every time he was just an asshole, I was like, okay, Roger, I'll talk to you later. Don't call me Roger. I'm your father. I'm like, well, you want to be my father? Start talking to me like my father. When you talk to me like this, you sound like Roger. So fuck you, Roger. I'll talk to you later.
But like,
And he was like, well, fuck.
but I mean that's like so, just like dead on, right? And he played, like, I want to say, like, like he played into it, but he like when he wanted to say father, he would go father, and then you know what I mean. And then when you would say Roger, he was like, oh, you're trying to say I'm not being a father, and he defended this thing even though he probably maybe wasn't being a father.
Right.
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. So we butted heads a lot because he raised me to be a strong, independent person that believes in himself. Don't back down. If you know you're right, stand up for yourself.
Were y'all a lot alike?
Very much so. Twins. Yeah.
When did you figure that out?
When my stepmother, her parents came through his house and saw a picture of my grandfather, and it turned out to be Roger. Oh, that's a great picture of your grandfather, or that's a good old time photo of Brian. And Roger's like, no, that's me. That's an old photo of me. Because she thought it was only new pictures hung up on the wall, and it was a photo of my dad when he was riding out of the army.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks, spitting image. Not so much anymore.
And did y'all stay reconciled after 2019?
I called him every day until he couldn't take calls anymore. Not every day. Sorry, that's not true. It was at least once a week. Like,
What often?
I
More often than in the first half of his life. I'll put it that way.
on a regular basis, and my phone didn't ring much on the other side, but I kept the dialogue open. Tried to keep, hey, I'm here. Tell him about successes at work. Some days he'd be pissed off and not want to talk to me, so it wouldn't be 90 seconds. Okay, I tried. Yeah, I tried. Some days I'd get a good conversation about him. He'd be curious about my life. That was just it. It was like, if he wasn't curious about my life, we didn't have anything to talk about. I've heard all his war stories. I grew up with all of his war stories. I heard all of his drinking beer stories since I was 4 years old. All of his campfire stories. I knew all of them. So yeah, I didn't have time to listen. He wasn't curious about me. I was like, Dad, I'm right here. It's our last chance. Ask questions. He would. We'd have good conversations. But there was a lot of damage in our relationship to where, when we reconnect with somebody, sometimes there's a re-establishing the connection. Is the walls there or the walls shifted? Is an old wound going to be a joke or is it going to be a trigger? And so it was difficult to get those deeper connections with him. But yeah, I kept the channels open. I called frequently because I had an hour drive home from work. So, hey, what's going on? I'm thinking about him.
No regrets.
None. Not one. I
That's
showed up.
but you could easily see how if you wouldn't have put in that work, how you would have regrets.
100%, yeah. Yeah.
I just want to point out like that.
Deep down inside, I always wanted him to be the man I needed him to be.
But
But
he just wasn't.
He wasn't, and he couldn't be. And I see that now.
I mean, that's okay.
It,
I mean, it's not okay, but I mean, like you can't ask something of someone that they don't know how to do or can't do. Like, I mean, you could ask,
right.
but that doesn't mean you're actually going to get it. I mean, it's just a request.
What's important is I was the man they needed when I had the opportunity to.
Yeah. Because sometimes that's your role in a relationship.
Yeah. The old ones didn't go away. It was like just, they were history. There's, everything's not important. Those moments are history. There's not a competition, not a drama. Just respect me, and I'm going to show up and respect you.
Well, it's kind of like
I'll meet you where you at.
we were talking about before, like I feel like I've lived multiple lives. I don't even remember the old lives. I barely
No?
like people will come on here and tell me stories about me, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I did that? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm like shocked. They're like, oh, there was this time that like you really inspired me. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, I thank God I was like actually present and did something positive.
And that's what these are for.
What do we see?
This is the
Oh, so you don't forget?
right. These
Yeah,
these are the day-to-day essays. So
Oh man.
that's the journal that I keep. I've been producing one of those a year, approximately 400 pages. So those are just my random thoughts journal, and so kind of an extension of the crazy thoughts. And that one's pivotal. That's an interesting one because that's the year I had my stroke. So everything from my stroke forward, I can read in documentation. Everything from my stroke backwards, I have in documentation.
How many times have we had this conversation, and how many more times do we have to have it about you writing a book about your life?
I got all my footwork done. I got the basics down. I just need to cultivate it.
Yeah, I think that I think that's how would I put this? You are so present with yourself. I mean, like you're writing like every day, right? So you like have you have so much content.
Yeah.
And so then you have to narrow it down to like a book. You know what I mean? And maybe that's not your goal. Maybe that's not what you want to do. You know what I mean?
It is. And that's the stories of the Vagabond Cowboy is a concept of 7 books. And so I'm on my 7th dog. So the books I think are going to chronologue roughly along each of the dogs that has come through my life.
Let me tell you something. I know my friend Matt listens to this podcast. So Matt, this is just for you. He doesn't believe in things aligning and how coincidences and not everything means anything. Well, to him, to Brian, he's found meaning in this.
Every bit.
I mean, I know everything has meaning.
Everything does.
Well, why are we here if it doesn't have meaning?
Well, the meaning's up to you to interpret.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you?
I'm only speaking to Matt, which is like one of like 20 listeners.
Okay. Hey, Matt, what does it mean to you? And what does this moment mean to you?
Hey, I love you, Matt. Anyways.
Cheers.
Yeah. I like that this one's called Strokes of Genius. Like you just went from crazy thoughts, strokes of genius.
100%.
Hey, that's pretty much, you know what I mean? That's how I think about my crazy thoughts.
Well, and I think that's the year I started out with. I'm tired of my journal being a rant session about family and those tension relationships that I wanted to fix, those relationships I needed and wanted to fix. And I was like, I'm going to start journaling about the good things that are happening in my life.
But I think, okay, do you get to this without journaling all that other stuff first, do you think?
No, that was all. Well, no, that's not fair.
Did that need to come out before you got to this, to the good thoughts?
Oh,
Did you need to get all the dark stuff out?
Oh, 100%. That was my healing journey.
Yeah,
that was my healing journey of processing it and finally coming to realize that wasn't my trauma to carry. I was shielding that from my mother. I was shielding that from my sister. I was shielding my dads from each other. I was managing all these different traumas, and I finally got to the point where, like, the tension between my father and my dad is not mine to carry. The tension between my dad and my mother is not mine to carry. The tension between my sister and my mother is not mine to carry. And I laid down a bunch of the stuff wasn't mine to carry. You know, those weren't my burdens. I owned them because I love these people and I wanted to be there for them, but it was becoming too much of a burden to me because I was carrying all the traumas. And there's been some interesting conversations with both my dads and my mom about, I'm not playing that game anymore. That's not my burden to carry. I'm sorry, your situation is what it is. I've done everything I can do.
I think, yes.
Sorry.
No, yes. And I also think that it's important that the way you approach your parents about those things, that it's going to change the way that y'all interact because you need it. It's a boundary for you, right?
Yes.
Like there's a nice way to ask for things,
100%.
right? And you might ask nicely and get totally ignored, but it doesn't mean, I mean, it's not like you didn't ask or you didn't state something, a boundary that you're going to now have, I guess you should say. But it's your job to enforce it, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just
But when
talk.
you do that, guess what? Did you have a better relationship with your parents after that?
100%.
100%. Because it's more balanced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're meeting at the middle.
Like
It's-
you're like again, we're in different phases of our life, right?
Right.
I'm no longer a kid anymore. I'm
Yeah.
a 50-year-old fucking person,
Yeah.
right? So, like, I should have a slightly different relationship with my parents now, and other people and other things. I mean, like, it should be different.
Right.
If I was the same person I was at 20, having the same relationship with my parents as I was at 20,
Something's not right.
I mean, because like ultimately, you chose a different path. You could have had the same relationship you did when you were 20s with all these people,
Mhm.
and you chose a different path. You chose to take control of what you could control.
Yep.
You made decisions that were best for you and really best for them, because you're like, hey,
At that
like,
moment in time, that was the best situation we could come up with.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that, sometimes it's temporary band-aids for long-term solutions. You know what I mean? Like everybody got to chill out a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like stuff's so hot that you got to like cool off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And realize that some of that heat and chaos needs to happen to gel things, because there's dynamics that need to happen over time. So you've applied the pressure, you know what you want, or they've caused that chaos. Allowing time will allow it to cool down and take form to where then you know how to respond and adapt to it.
Well, and I
versus
think
being so combative.
and chaos is kind of just like what happens when there's change.
Right.
Right? Like, so like, it's just like not chaos and necessarily like it's a negative, but in the chaos in a way of like, that's part of change. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
Right.
Well, like my whole journey getting here. So I'm on the West Coast. I was supposed to fly a direct from Portland to Austin. And that flight got canceled yesterday. And there's 2 inches of snow fell in Austin yesterday. Then another 2 inches fell this morning. And I got to be at the airport. I'm like, oh, it's going to be a light travel day. It's snowing. Nobody drives in Portland in the snowing. I get to the airport. It's slammed. Okay. I've had all this chaos injected in my schedule, and now I'm looking at pressing time. So where I had a control of a schedule, the universe injected chaos. Everything fell together. I'm actually here a little bit earlier than I was supposed to be. So, it's just adapting and reading the chaos that's delivered and not reacting so inflammatory towards it. Like, okay, that's what's ahead of me now. This is the next step I got to take. I used to tell my match from Big Brother, Big Sister, I'm like, life's kind of like when you're crossing, hop skipping across a river. You see a path with rocks across the river, but maybe you got to choose your own path. I'm like, you can set your intention to get to the other side of the river, but every time you step on one of those rocks, you got to reevaluate it. Is that one moving? Is it not? Is this one is my next step? So I plan 3 steps. Like I know these are the 3 that I want to go to. Once you get here, you got to reevaluate. You got to look 3 steps ahead. Just kind of test your pattern because it'll change. And then that's reacting with the universe and the chaos that is. Oh yeah, that rock's unstable. Okay, I got 2 over here to choose from or 1 over here to choose from. What does that change my next options as far as direction where I'm going?
Well, I think like what a great analogy, because you go at these key points, you should stop and make sure that the choices or the direction you had pointed your ship in is still the direction you want to go in, or do we need to change course?
Right, based on what's presented to us in that moment.
And you might pick the wrong rock. But that doesn't mean that there's not other options, or you can't go back a little
Right.
bit.
It's easier to go back 1 step than it is 5 to 10 steps.
Well, especially like if you're just like, nah, this rock's fine. Nah, this rock's fine. Nah, this rock's fine.
Oh, I'm at the top of a waterfall. What the hell?
Afraid of heights.
This final segment is brought to you by HeyJustBe.com. I believe that achieving balance in the mental, physical, and metaphysical aspects of your purpose through learning, serving, and creating can transform your life into one you truly enjoy living. Want to learn more? Visit www.heyjustbe.com.
So how I usually wrap this thing up is I ask people, what do you do to just be the best version of yourself so you can be good for everybody else? And I would say, just going out on a limb, that writing is a big part of that, right? But like, tell me, and probably camping, being the whole thing we talked about, like being by yourself, you know, like being able to be with yourself is the use. But like, tell me other stuff. Tell me other stuff that you like to do, because I'll be honest, I really don't know, because we stopped working together a long time ago. Our friendship remained, but like our business relationship did not, which is like really, like, if I really had to ask for the best way something to go, especially if I make total side note before you tell me how to be the best version of yourself. My clients that I work with for a really long time, they end up, you know, it's hard not to have like a personal relationship with them. That when they stop training, they just ghost me. Really, kind of sometimes hurts my feelings.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of like, okay, so we weren't even really like, that
Were we
was
really
fake.
friends? Yeah.
Like, I know we had a business deal,
Right.
but like we weren't friends either.
Like, paying you to be a friend. I gotta pay you to still be a friend.
I was like, wow, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because I was like, you know, I don't know. I thought I meant more to you. So I appreciate that. I mean, I appreciate that we maintain our friendship.
100%. And you know, and I had to go into this from the other perspective, because I think GQ or Men's Magazine or somebody had an article, or I forget where I read it, but like right before we started training, maybe like right after we had just started training, it was like, don't fall in love with your personal trainer. And it was a whole article about how you build this bromance because you're working together and you're talking about stuff. You know, you're going to talk about the game, you're going to talk about whatever. So you do build this solid friendship with a man at the gym, and it's an awesome relationship. I think gym relationships are some of the most solid. But yeah, people disappear from that network and just ghost you. It hurts. It hurts.
I also let me say, I think that at the time that we were training, I think it's much more acceptable to have a bro gym buddy now than it was back then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's weird to like say that, but like,
we didn't have phones back then.
Yeah,
There was no
it
phones,
was,
there was no
like
distractions. There was, you know, you weren't in your own little isolated world working out. You would have somebody spot you. You would interact with somebody at the gym. You would, you know, somebody could come up to you and be like, "Hey, you want a tip? My trainer taught me, you know, pinch your back and feel that." And oh yeah, that is different. Damn, it hurts more. I'm like, yeah, it's supposed to. You're doing it right now.
you're the second person to mention I gave him tips on a back exercise. It is an important muscle. I can't believe I'm giving so much back tips.
But it's really important because it focuses and aligns your entire spine, and so then you're breathing better, your A-frame's better.
Look,
Everything's
simple.
you look better.
The simplest tips are usually the best ones. Like this is not a complicated thing. People been like trying to find. People have found ways to be in shape way before Gold's Gym was ever invented. Like, you know what I mean? So like, you know, like. It needs to be simple, because if it's not simple, most people won't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of those high intensity stuff, they intimidate people away from the gym. I don't want to go into somebody yelling and screaming at them to do stuff, you know. It's like, hey, show me how to use stuff.
Some people don't want, like, I'm not a yeller and screamer.
Right.
I'm not that kind of coach, right? So like, people have quit with me because they want somebody to yell and scream at them. I'm like, well, knock yourself out.
Yeah, that's the motivation.
Like, we're not like that. We're not a match.
Yeah, that's the motivation you need. Go somewhere else. There's somebody that'll give you that.
All right, so I totally hijacked that. Go tell me. So tell me other things you do to take care of yourself, because like straight up, I told you this earlier, but like, you know, you look and you sound, everything about you just radiates that like you're in such a good place. So I want to know kind of what you did.
What's your secret?
What's your secret to such great hair?
I know. What's my skincare routine? You know, it starts with the day-to-day, and like we've talked about, we have our own little practices of what we do to, you know, meditation, this, that, and the other. I don't have a set routine just because that's the way my brain works. But like I have 3 singing bowls throughout the house. So if any moment I'm feeling tension, I can strike the singing bowl, and I know to listen to that. Part of my practice is to listen to that note to silence. So just to stop myself. And I also have the aquarium now. So the aquarium flows 24/7, and there's always something to.
But you've had an aquarium for a while.
This is my 4th or 5th one. The aquarium's only a year old now, right at 1 year.
Okay, can I ask you for an aquarium tip real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so our aquarium, it's small, but it keeps getting like this brown algae on the outside or whatever. Like, what are we doing wrong?
You probably have high phosphate in your water.
Okay, so what do we need to do?
You can get a phosphate neutralizer that you can filter the water through.
Okay,
I'm not a freshwater expert, but that sounds like phosphate.
I don't know anything.
I did that to my first, when I got the tank set up a year ago, I poured in tap water. Thought it was great tap water. I was so eager to get that aquarium going. And I had an algae bloom that started off with that brown algae and then started going into the hair algae. I had a huge mess on my hands because I had high phosphorus water from that first initial fill. So I went out and bought it.
Okay, I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna need you to talk to Aaron.
Yeah. I use RO water. So if you can get distilled water or any pure water, that'll help too.
I got a fancy water filter. I'm bound to be able to make a pH level water for this fish, right?
Yeah. It's mostly about extracting the phosphorus.
I mean, like, it's supposed to be the best water on the planet.
Well,
Okay, so again, hijacked it all over again. Okay, what is it about the fish tank that is what about that having the fish is helps you be a better person?
well, it's not just the fish; it's the entire aquarium. So I was joking with my dad when I was setting it up and joking around and talking about it because he's trying to. Oh, what if you did this? Oh, what if you did this? And then I was like, hey, Dan, you know how I can tell you about your golf game? Ha! You can't. I'm like, exactly. I know what I'm doing here. Let me do my thing. And so we were talking later, and I was like telling him, I was like, yeah, most people's hobby is painting or this, that, and the other. Mine's maintaining a complex environmental ecosystem that maintains itself. It's a whole ecosystem that it's not just water and chemistry. It's what your fish and your animals are doing there to create nitrates and nitrates. I know, sorry, I geek out.
No, I'm still laughing about the fact that you're
golf.
like,
Yeah.
you're like, what can I tell you about golf? You're like, you can't. You're like, exactly.
Just stay out your lane.
Well, it's kind of like, one of my favorite saying is like, I don't come to your job, slap the broom out of your hand. It's the same thing, but just in a different way.
Yeah.
And I've never heard it that way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It came to me that time that I was telling him as because he was there from the beginning. Like he never left the house, so he got to see it go through everything. And there's a phase when you put the rock in and it has to cycle through stuff, and then it's saltwater aquarium, so you have live rock, and that's got its own biologics that kick in and have to go through a cycle, and you have your live sand, and you shouldn't add fish for like 8-10 weeks because you need it to go through this natural nitrite cycle. And I was chomping at the bit, but he watched me go through this process of watching it become a sterile environment until when it was a living, breathing thing all by itself.
Yeah.
And it is like it was literally coming online and coming alive, and it is its own entity at this point. It's its own ecosystem.
Yeah, that's way different than our fish tank. So I bet it does give it like, because like, is this weird? Like on some level, it feels like you're in the ocean.
It's a tide pool.
Yeah,
It is a tide pool. So tide pools become isolated from the ocean. So it's like having its own body of water away from the ocean. But yeah, it is 100% the ocean.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
That's amazing.
it is. It's a coral reef.
I didn't realize all this time. I just thought it was a fish tank.
No, it's a coral reef. And the way I have the rocks and the pumps set up, it's like the end of a reef at a drop-off zone. So there's multiple layers for the fish to dart in and out, and the corals are all growing in different levels and stuff. So, yeah.
Where'd you learn to do all this?
And bits and pieces. I was so broke in San Diego, I could pay my rent and I could buy a power head once in a while. And somehow I just cobbled my first aquarium together, and it became a passion. And I knew marine biology in my soul from studying it in college. And I just had always wanted to maintain it, or my degree of study was actually going to be tide pool studies because they go through the most climatic change in a 24-hour period than any other place on Earth. They can go from 43-degree water to 108 outside in, out in a shelf with no oxygen depletion, and you got toxins building up in that body of water. And they're out of water with no fresh oxygen coming in for 12 hours. I'm like, this is a really dynamic, hostile environment. Yet at the same time, when it does flood, it floods with the most nutrients. That's why there's so much life in the intertidal zone. So my degree of study was going to be studying the intertidal zones. And that's just the stuff I did in college. I learned how to look for stuff and then going to hobbyists and learning from other hobbyists and asking questions. And I've never really posted on boards. I'm too old school for that. But just going to shops, and like the shop in Portland I go to, they're predominantly my main supplier of all my everything. So just asking questions. Like any hobby, how do you learn? You ask questions. There's a lot of YouTube stuff too. So a lot of the mechanical equipment stuff, there's lots of YouTubes to see what's going on.
YouTube University.
Yeah. Well, and
YouTube U.
And West Coast Corals puts out a video on maintenance tips and stuff, and they're doing what I did with one of my first tanks, but now the technology is so amazing. They're trying to set up a wave action in the aquarium. So you get this type of action. It's just difficult to do with today's power heads, but I had a 55 long reef one time. My first one was a 55 long. It was a reef tank, and I had the old one of the first power switchers that would turn on and off based on a pattern, and I would get it to where it would give me a good cyclical pattern of the corals waving back and forth. I have a
I kind of knew this already. I kind of knew what a nerd you were, but you cover it up really well.
I do.
Like, you know what I mean?
I do.
And it's only in times where we have conversations like this, I'm like, man, like Brian's smart. He's like really smart. But you always dumb it down for me. I appreciate that.
We don't even talk about my day job. Building up dynamic applications.
You got anything else that you like to do?
I'm relearning that.
Like just with relearning what you like to do?
Right. It's the first time I've had time for me for a while. So
yeah,
I've been taking care of people for a long time.
Yeah, and then the pandemic happens during all that time too.
That didn't really shake me because I live such an isolated life.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, okay, welcome to my world.
Well, what did it do to a little bit of social interaction that you did have? How did you?
Gave me permission to keep people further away.
So how did you? Have you recovered from that?
Yeah.
It's okay. What'd you do?
Started playing that game in the grocery store of, hey, let's sprinkle some joy in here and see what reactions you get, and we'll compare notes at the end of the day.
What a great idea.
Yeah. You have to, if you're gonna just spread joy, you just interact and spread joy. Then you don't have to be attached to the outcome of the interaction. She didn't hear you. Well,
yeah, I was kind of like, you know what I really thought? As I was walking away, I was like, well, that's a bummer for her.
Right.
I was like, because I was like, like I was trying to have a really
free
positive
love bomb coming in.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and oh man, everybody's running to that person that like they just really don't receive things like that well and stuff like that. But like that again, that's not when you're trying to just do something like nice out of the kindness of like that's what it means to be like a good person and be nice. And someone doesn't receive it well, that's not really your fault.
No.
Unless you're coming from a passive aggressive place, then it's totally your fault. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're really coming from a good place of what you're trying to do and you just don't get the reaction that you want, that's not your fault. And you could do it 10 more times and have 10 more different types of reactions.
And you can get that reaction from somebody and 2 hours later, like, God, I was kind of a dick to that guy. He was really being nice to me. And maybe you don't see the effect it really had, but you still caused a ripple in in the universe by being kind. Because we've all had those moments where in the moment we say something stupid or we're like, yeah, whatever. And they're like, God, I was kind of a jerk there. I didn't mean to do that. And then you can still receive that kindness.
Yeah, like the time that I was probably texting on my phone when I was driving and this lady pulled up beside me and told me to roll my window down. And then I rolled my window down. She's like, you shouldn't be texting when you're driving. And I was like, you should be focused on driving. And I rolled the window. But really, like I shouldn't have said that. Like I shouldn't have engaged. I should have been like, you know what, you're right. I shouldn't text when I drive. And then just today, I had to send a text to Aaron and Lucy was in the car, and so I did it voice to text.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "Daddy, what are you doing?" I go, "Trying."
Try new technology.
I'm trying not to have us die for me texting, and I'm trying to use this voice command.
Yeah.
Well, were you nervous at all?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No.
Did you have a good time?
100%.
How was the pizza?
Good. It was really good.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I'm open to trying new things, and that was awesome. I'd do it again.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's leftovers, so you could totally do it again.
Oh, I thought you were doing a shout out to the company.
What?
Sorry,
Oh,
I thought we were doing a shout out to the company.
oh, what? It's mod pizza. No. Ooh, it's Blaze Pizza.
Blaze Pizza, yeah.
We love Blaze Pizza because they do dairy-free cheese.
Yeah, it was really good. I'd never had non-dairy cheese
I mean, like, okay,
pizza before. And it was really good.
like let's be serious, real serious, okay? Is there? And I feel like I know what you're gonna say, but is there really a bad pizza? Is there bad pizza?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What?
Okay. We had a team meeting up in Olympia. I'm not going to drop a name because I can't remember the name of the pizza joint, but we were putting together for everybody so all the developers could be together. There's about 12 of us. So we ordered several different pizzas, and we wanted to accommodate and have a vegan pizza.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gluten-free vegan pizza. And it was like just the weirdest texture and taste.
Okay. So that is a fair example. But I mean, just like I think about like frozen dollar pizza.
Oh, those can be the best.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I think about all the other different types of pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if pizza's made poorly, I guess you could argue these dollar pizzas are made poorly, but I don't feel like they are. The point I'm trying to make is that like poorly made or crappy pizza, or trying to make vegan pizza, like you're making dough out of like cauliflower. Like what do you want? What do you want? But if you're just like an average slice of pizza, like it's never bad.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do bad.
Right?
It's like mac and cheese. Everybody should be able to do a basic mac and cheese.
That should be like a test.
Right?
Can you make mac and cheese? I don't know if I would pass that test.
Oh, yeah, you would.
I mean, I can read.
Exactly. You can follow directions.
I think from now on, I'm gonna make everybody have to make mac and cheese when they come over to the house.
Fair.
To see.
Oh, I'll teach you how to make a dirty mac.
What's the dirty mac?
So I take mac and cheese.
Okay.
I boil the noodles. And while I'm boiling the noodles, I saute the chopped onions and mushrooms in butter. In the butter you're supposed to use.
Yeah.
I saute the onions and mushrooms in that. I brown some sausage, and I get that good and brown so it's a little caramelized. I put a little bit of barbecue sauce on that sausage. Let that cook a little bit so it caramelizes a little bit. Then I put the noodles back in. Instead of milk, I put heavy cream in.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I put the heavy cream in, and then I take one of the 4-cheese Mexican pre-made 4-cheese slices or shredded. Pour one of those in, a little 4-ounce or whatever. Pour that in. Then do the powder stuff. Mix all that together, and then start adding in the sausage and the.
It's like chicken scallopini or something like. It's like a macaroni scallopini.
I don't know.
What'd you call it?
Dirty mac and cheese. I got it from the idea of dirty rice, which dirty rice is anything you put meat in. So if you put meat in, it looks dirty. So I just coined that from dirty rice. I was like, dirty mac and cheese.
No, I mean,
Dress it up.
It's like the lady that gave me the recipe for gummy bear Jello shots. You get these great recipes all over the place.
You know, there's a great recipe everywhere.
Well, I mean, see, the cool part about it now is I can just go I'm like, oh, like Lucy, we're gonna have dirty mac and cheese. She's like, where is this from? I'm like, oh, Mr. Brian had this recipe.
Because Brian shared that recipe with me on this podcast.
And then she'll tell that to all of her friends, and they'll be like, who's this Brian guy? They'll go on for history, and then like on my deathbed, I'll be like, he was just a friend that just came by the house when you were 4.
Right.
That's it. And she's like, what?
It's a family, but it's.
I thought it was a family
Right,
recipe
right.
all this time.
Dad.
Oh, All right. Well, I mean, I don't think I have to ask you to give me a hug. You good? Give me a hug.
Hell yeah.
All right. Push that mic out. Let's see. Most people try to do like this dive job. That's
Oh, hell no.
Thank you so much.
Take it
Yeah.
breath.
Thank you.